back in here. Another video. So, today we're in Codewars, and the name of the exercise is Split Strings. It is a 6 Caillou. I'm not even sure how to pronounce this. I guess it's Caillou. Whatever it is, it is. You see it on the screen. Alright, explanation-wise, and also, I'm going to do this one today in Python, as you see selected up here, Python. That'd be the language today. Complete the solution so that it splits the string into pairs of 2 characters. If the string contains an odd number of characters, then it should replace the missing second character of the final pair with an underscore. So, and it's got a couple of examples down there. So the overall thing is that you're going to get a string as the data type, and you're going to chop it into chunks basically of 2 characters and return a list of strings, as you see. And yeah, the chunks are going to be 2 characters each, and if you have an odd number of characters in the original string, the last element will be 1 character and an underscore, as you see. So this is kind of a basic thing where you're taking in a string and breaking it into chunks of a certain size. A pretty good skill to practice, absolutely. So let's look at these examples and kind of develop a strategy here. Of course, you're going to be chopping it into chunks, like I said. So you're going to go by 2s. You're going to, take this A, B, and then this C. Of course, there is no second character for the C, so then you would append the underscore. In this other example, you can kind of see that it's an even number of characters, and so it's just going to be 2 by 2 going forward. Yeah. So if you're pretty familiar with Python, well, an approach to this is like, thinking about it in terms of what programming constructs could match up with this, with the need here, solution-wise. And if you're pretty familiar with Python, programming construct could be the range loop, where, in the range loop you can you can jump, you can skip by a certain amount. Like I can go 2 by 2 or 3 by 3, meaning I can, as I iterate, I can go 2 ahead in a string or a list, or 3 ahead or 4 ahead via the step option of the range. Of course, you can do this in other languages as well. Like a regular, like a C for loop or a C++ for loop. You can just increment I by, +2, +3, whatever. But in Python, you can use the range to do this jumping thing. So I'm going to employ that to facilitate this solution. And yeah, I'm really gonna jump by 2s, where I'll kind of draw this out a little bit for you using one of these examples. Let's say I could start on the A in this example, jump 2, end up on the C, jump 2, end up on the E. And then what I can do is I can capture A and B on that first, C and D on that second, E and F on that third. And these would be individual iterations of a loop, where I would get A, or I would land on A, look ahead to B, get those 2, then land on C, look ahead to D, land on E, look ahead to F, And really, you can do the look ahead with slicing, because with slicing, you're not going to go out of bounds, and I'll probably cover a little bit about that when I start talking about the code. And I'm actually going to start doing that right now, because got a little bit of a strategy here, so I'm going to drop some code. Yes. Let's get the cursor handled. All right, I'm just going to do it right in the Codewars interface, since this is a pretty easy problem. So first, from doing this before, I know that I need to check the incoming string for emptiness, because if the string is empty, I'm just going to return an empty list. So I'll do that real quick. If that string is empty, going to return empty list. Just kind of get that sort of validation out of the way. So now I need to create some pairs, or create the pairs. The pairs or the chunks, as it were. And really what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop using the range loop and loop by twos, or I guess iterate by two, so I can get to, jump, get to, jump, get to, jump. And I'll go over how to handle the odd situation a little bit later. But I'll create an empty list to hold the chunks, and I'll just call them chunks, even though maybe not the most appetizing word, but hey, we're not eating here. And so I'm going to loop, trusty for I and range loop, and we'll do the length of s. Yeah, so, and I'm going to use the step option here. So whenever you use the step, you've got to have 3 arguments. So start with 0 as the beginning of the list. The length of the list is going to be the stop or the end of the range, and then the step is going to be 2, because I'm going to be jumping by 2, like I was saying before, to get these nice little 2-sized chunks. That sounds weird. Okay. So in the body here, what am I going to do? I'm going to use slicing in the body, where I'm going to get a slice of two characters and then append that to the chunks list. So I'll do that. And then the slice is going to be S, and it's going to start where we are at I, and then it'll go I plus 2, because you probably know that the upper limit of a slice is not inclusive, so it'll include I and I plus 1, not include I plus 2. So it'll be a 2-character slice, giving you I and I plus 1. So I'll just throw that over here in the comment. Of course, elements I and I plus 1 of that string. Yeah, I plus 2 is not included. So yeah, it's going to get those. And the cool thing about slicing is that when you slice, you don't have to really worry about not that you should worry anyway about anything, but you don't have to worry about being out of bounds, because slicing, it will not cause an out of bounds error if you address a slice that goes past the length of your string or the length of your list or whatever. And this is going to go out of bounds, actually. It will, for the odd numbered or the odd length string. It's going to go out of bounds. But when it goes out of bounds with a slice, it's only going to include the remaining character or the remaining elements. So it's kind of like a safety net. So I don't have to do any kind of bounds checking. I can just freely go ahead and do this, and when it gets to the end, it'll just include the remaining character, and it's safe. So yeah, try that out on your own. You know, if you do a slice past the end of a string or a list, it's solid. It's just you're not going to get any errors, and it's a good way to kind of not have to be so meticulous about your indexing, even though you really should learn how to be more meticulous, because it makes you a better programmer. But anyway, if you're trying to save time, whatever, trying to knock out an exercise, keep it moving with this. All right, that's enough. Next line here. So getting the chunks in this list, or in this loop. When this loop is done, I'm going to have my chunks, and really the remaining thing is going to be dealing with the situation where there's a possibility that if the string contains an odd number of characters, that the last element is going to be by itself. And if it is by itself, I can just tack on the underscore. So I'll do that. I know I'm leaving out a lot of kind of consideration, or maybe some figuring out that maybe has to be done, but I'm trying to do a fairly quick video here. So I'll just make it conditional. I'll say if the last element of my list is only one character, then I'm going to tack on the underscore. See if chunks, let's see here. Now if the length of chunks, if I can type here, the length of chunks, the last element of it, equals 1, it's only going to equal 1 or 2. So if it equals 1, I am going to concatenate an underscore onto it. Yes, yes. And I think that's it. Return chunks. My beautiful chunks. Okay. Yeah. And like it would be in this case, if you got that element or the character by itself, tack on that and you're good. And it's always only going to be the last one because of the parameters of this this exercise. So you can be you can just check for 1. And I have no idea what's going on outside with that engine revving. Okay, like this one, you know. And yeah, I think it's good. So I'm gonna run it through and see what I get. All right, pass the test, and we pass the attempt. Correctamundo. Beautiful message. So yeah, this one is done. And that means this video is done. So got a little solution here. If you take a look at this solution, you could also do it, or at least I think this part, definitely with list comprehension. So maybe you want to give that a try afterwards, and maybe come up with your own alternative solution. I did a solution where I'm looking ahead as I loop, where it's like, bam, look ahead, here, look ahead. But you can also look behind, where you could start one ahead, look behind. With slicing, you can't, well, it's more difficult to do without slicing. So, but you can look ahead or behind. Anyway, there's other ways to do this. I'm going to stop rambling. Here's the end of the video. You got your solution. Hope y'all liked it, and I'm out of here until next time.